Okay, welcome. This is November 24th, Tuesday, 2020, roughly 3:10 p.m. here in Columbia. And I'm Gitmo Blue, going to talk uh, predominantly about the Creighton recruiting class of 2021. Couple quick hitters before we get into the subject matter. I had invited a couple of guys from the Creighton boards, uh, Django and LJ. LJ's been around for longer than I have, and I've been around for what, 40 years, 50 years? And LJ's been around a couple of days longer than I have. But unfortunately, he had client gatherings and meetings to attend to, and Django's bashful. Django has a lot to say on all three of the boards, the Underground, Blue Jay Banner, and over at Holy Land of Hoops. But he's kind of bashful to be on camera for whatever reason, citing his lack of expertise and lack of knowledge and this, that, and the other. But he always has a hell of a lot to say on the boards. Anyway, but unfortunately, those two guys couldn't make it. And so it was going to be me and Jon Nyatawa. But up to this point, Nyatawa hasn't made it either. So it's stuck with me, good old Gitmo. I'm Jim Harvey, Gitmo Blue, as known to many as Gitmo Blue. And you're looking and listening to Blue Notes Basketball 365 on YouTube. This is the YouTube channel that is part of the BlueNotes2.com blog, and I cover all things basketball, predominantly Big East and Creighton, but also NCAA and FIBA, and every now and then a little bit from the pros. Couple of quick notes before we get into this. On NIL, I've got an update that's coming out. It was supposed to have been out a couple of days ago, but it'll be out in the next couple of days. A name, image, and likeness update, and that'll be coming out. Talking about Opendorse, the company Opendorse, and there's a second company that the name escapes me right now, but there'll be more on both of these companies. What these guys are doing is packaging a program for NIL for student athletes. But what they're doing is they're packaging the program and marketing the program to the various and assorted universities. Now, on the 22nd, 23rd of November, Creighton University in Omaha, Nebraska, my guys, signed up with Opendorse, and Opendorse is headed by two former Nebraska football players. They have contracts with a lot of different entities, the NFL, the NBA, the PGA, believe it or not, and a couple of other yeah, the NFL, NHL, the hockey league, NBA, PGA Tour, and also with companies like Pepsi, Procter and Gamble, EA Sports, and whatnot. They've got about, thus far, Opendorse has about 20 universities signed up, Creighton being the latest, but Clemson, Creighton, uh, a few other, about 20 companies or 20 colleges and universities have signed up thus far. and I don't see the other universities, but I know it was Clemson, Creighton, uh, Louisville, Indiana, and 20 all told that have signed up thus far, signing up early. Now, for whatever reason, they're giving laudable comments to Creighton for signing early so that all student athletes will be eligible to participate. I don't know how this is going to work further on up the road, whether it's going to be tiered or whether there's going to be limits or whatnot. But in the release to the public, Creighton's program, Take Flight, is what they're calling it. Take Flight is what Creighton is calling their program. But the program will be in place at the university to help assist, and Open Doors will be the company that is helping the student athletes to market themselves, market their name, image, and likeness, and the whole 9 yards. The launch of Take Flight marks Creighton as the first Big East program to launch an NIL readiness program. It also positions Creighton among the first 20 schools nationwide to join Open Doors Ready, which is the package, the program. The Blue Jays joined Clemson, Louisville, Indiana, among others. By joining now, Creighton is able to bring Open Doors Ready's NIL readiness solutions to every student athlete at the university. The program provides 3 core pillars to student athletes' success: assessment, education, and performance, tailored to assist each individual athlete. And then it goes on from there. But it's something that's notable. NIL is going to be in reality, and Creighton's getting in early and going with a proven program. These guys, Open Doors, have been around since 2012, and they've got proven endorsement history and track record, and history of providing great management solutions for their clients. So the student athletes are going to be getting their money's worth and actually getting their money through these endorsements. As I pointed out in the update, it's not going to be multi-million-dollar contracts by and large. However, from roughly 70 or 80,000 to several $100,000 a year is well within the realm of reality and possibility. And in the NIL update, we gave 3 examples: a football player, I believe a soccer player, and one other that were used in an article on Open Doors and this other company that are some of the leaders in providing NIL solutions. Okay, so much for that. The next thing, Tolliver, Anthony Tolliver, and Kyle Korver were with the Pope yesterday. Yeah, Pope Francisco, Papa Francisco, they were with the Pope yesterday or day before. I believe it was yesterday. The Pope is wanting to put down a major piece of papal legislation on social justice and the like. And from what articles have been written, he was impressed with the social activism expressed by the NBA and a couple of other sports outfits, organizations, and whatnot. So he had his boys send an invite to the NBA to send a delegation to talk about social justice issues, how the NBA has been addressing it, and whatnot. Now, amongst the 5 NBA players and the rest of the group that went were Anthony Tolliver and Kyle Korver of Creighton, former Creighton greats, who are both long-standing players in the NBA. Tolliver's been 12 years in the NBA, 15 as a pro, prior to making it breaking into the NBA. And he's also the secretary of the Players Association. Korver's been in the NBA 17 years, and has been an outspoken advocate on social justice and racial inequality and the problems that beset the country. And he's been outspoken advocate of racial equality. So both of them were amongst the group that met with Pope Francis, Papa Francisco, yesterday. And needless to say, the Creighton community is extremely pleased and proud that 2 of our guys were seen as part of the linchpin of speaking out against racial injustice and racial inequality, and that the Pope and the NBA saw fit that our guys would be in the entourage that would confer with Papa Francisco. So shout out to AT and Kyle, and congratulations. And we're proud as hell of you, because you represent in a positive and a consistent manner. And we're extremely happy as part of the Creighton community that you were amongst the delegation that met with the Pope. Okay. I was going to pose some questions to Jon Nyatawa. Yesterday, recruiting, 2021 recruiting, okay? Yesterday, my Creighton Blue Jays broke into the top 10 of the 247 team rankings, landing at number 8 with the recent signings of point guard Ty Washington, number 57 on the 247 recruit list, and number 65 power forward Mason Miller on the 247 list, catapulting Creighton from 29th up to number 8 in the top 50 of the 2021 recruiting as tabulated by 247.com. Now, Creighton has 4 signees up as of now. Point guard Ryan Nimhard of Canada by way of IMG Academy, or Monteverde Academy, excuse me, down in Florida. 3-star out of Seattle, Washington, John Christophilus, shooting guard. Point guard out of Phoenix, Arizona, Chandler, Arizona, Ty Washington, number 57, and number 65, power forward out of Memphis, son of Mike Miller, Mason Miller, power forward, number 65 on 247. These 4 guys comprise the best class since 2006. The 2006 class was Kenny Lawson, Ty Morrison, Kenny Lawson out of San Diego, Ty Morrison out of Phoenix, who came to Creighton via JUCO and was supposedly the second coming of basketball. Casey Harriman out of Iowa, D'Angelo, blah, 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 out of Chicago, and of course, many of our favorite, Isaac Miles out of Kansas City, Missouri. Rivals rated all these guys 3-star below. Rivals had Lawson as the 3-star, Ty Morrison as a 3-star, Isaac Miles as the 3-star, and D'Angelo and Casey Harriman were unranked, um, or below 3-star. Scout at the time, Scout.com at the time, had Lawson and Morrison as 4-stars, and as 4-star players at the time. And when this class came on, it was seen as the greatest thing since the legendary 1982 Willis Reed class with Benoit Benjamin, Kenny Evans, Reggie Morris, and the fellas, Wyville, I can't remember Wyville's name, but it was like a 7 or 8 guy class back in '82. That was the shit. And 2006 class was seen as the best class since that '82 class with Benoit Benjamin. Benjamin was number 2 or number 3 behind Patrick Ewing in 1982. Legit 7-footer, 250, 260, a monster. Unfortunately, it took Willis about 3 years to finally get those guys together and get them playing well. So the '82 class never met up to its lofty expectations. Now, having said that, there were some dynamite players, and some of the individual achievements by Reggie Morris, Kenny Evans, Wyville, I think it was Wyville Wood, and Ben Benjamin are still in the record books at Creighton. The same goes for 2006. 2006 was expected to be, a hell of a class, a great class. And as it turns out, only 2 of those guys stayed the course with Altman and Lawson, even into the first year of the McDermott era. Ty Morrison left after a year. Isaac Miles and the kid out of Chicago also left after a year. So Casey Harriman and Kenny Lawson were the only 2 of that class to stick it out and stick around. And in fact, both of them stuck around for 5 years because of injury. The class overall had 4 or 5 years of 20 wins, 1 NCAA, 2 NITs, and 1 CBI to the record. And Lawson was both Lawson and Harriman were consummate team players. And Kenny Lawson's still playing today. Last year he was in Italy. This year, 2020, he's in Japan, and has recently had a photograph of him and Gregory Echenike shopping together in Fukuoka, Japan, which was good to see. The camaraderie of Creighton pros is astounding, and they're everywhere. They're all over the world. Echenike had been in South America. Previous to that, he'd been in Europe, but now both Echenike, I think Artino's in China or Korea. So Echenike's in Japan. Kenny Lawson's in Japan. There's a couple other guys over in Asia, 1 or 2 in China, 1 in South Korea, and of course Samson. Oh my God, what's Sam? Sam's back home down in Australia playing pro, so it's a good thing. The questions I was going to pose to Nyatawa was, number 1, this 2021 class, is it equal to or greater than 2006? On paper, 2006 was a hell of a class, but so is this one. And we've got 3 4-star guys and a 3-star guy thus far, and it's not over yet. I would have to say, in my long view, having been around Creighton since 1975, that yeah, this class is actually better than the 2006 class. And initially I was hedging on whether or not I should say that, but this class has just as much potential as that class had. But I think the kicker for me was that of the 5 guys that were signed in '06, only 2 of them stuck around. 3 of them left after 1 year uh, for whatever reasons. Uh, Issues with how they were being coached or whatever it was. Morrison left, Miles left, and D'Angelo. I can't remember D'Angelo's last name, but they all left after 1 year. So uh, only Lawson and Harriman were left to carry the load. Now the '07 we picked up my boy P. Allen Stinnett and some other guys. So the thing carried on, but the promise of the 2006 class as an entity of itself was never met, was never fulfilled. So I give the benefit of the doubt to this upcoming 2021 class as being better, and I have all confidence that this class will stick together and stick around and do some damage, and quite possibly along with the 2020 class, this class may well be the one. The 2020 and the 2021 class may well be the ones to bring the Natty, the national championship, home to Creighton and Omaha. Okay. Question 1A. Hunter Salas. My boy. That's what I was just saying. It's not over yet. So 2021 could well bring in Hunter Salas, given the gravity and the weight of the COVID pandemic on recruiting, on travel, on visiting other sites. He says he's down to his final 8, but a few weeks ago there was a final 3 put out by Tipton Edits, and the final 3 was North Carolina, Creighton, and Kentucky. Everybody thinks he's going to go to Kentucky because it's Kentucky. Those that don't think he's going to Kentucky, of course, think he's going to North Carolina. And that's not out of the realm of possibility. That's par for the course, as a matter of fact, because top players, top 10 players, top 25 players generally go through the Blue Bloods. So it's expected that he will go to the Blue Bloods. However, this is Creighton or COVID season, and I fully expect that Hunter and his family, seeing as how they are local Omahans, Nebraskans, and all that, will not run away to Texas or do a Harrison Barnes and go to North Carolina, or some other guy and go to Duke or whatever, or blah, 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 run down to Kansas, like so many have done in the past. The Kellogg's, the Trotters, the big white kid that was in Iowa that went down. We thought he was coming to Creighton. He wound up going to Texas, and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, Nick Baugh went to Kansas, but hey, that was no great luck. Sorry, Nick. But then he did have the good sense to come back to Creighton to finish up. So no harm done, Nick. Way to go, Bubba. But the fact of the matter is that Creighton, due to COVID and due to the success in recruiting the number 8 class in the country up to, at this point, number 8, invariably they may slide a little bit out of the top 10, but still be a top 20 class. Creighton has done a commendable job and an excellent job, and Coach Mack, Coach Huss, and the rest of the team, Rencher and the rest of the fellas, ought to be commended for doing an excellent job with this 2020 class, and now with this 2021 class. They last year, 2020, was the number 31 class in the country, according to 247. And this class will wind up being in the top 20, if not the top 10. Now, if Salas comes aboard, they're going to be top 10. They'll jump to number 2 immediately, and then as things settle out over the rest of the year, they'll settle comfortably within the top 10 for 2021 with the addition of Hunter Salas. Now, is that likely? I think so. I think so. I really do. And here's why. COVID has thrown everything in a state of flux. Travel is at your own risk. Taking visits has been put, the recruiting season has been frozen again. And so the only thing kids are being allowed to take is so-called administrative visits. And Hunter's visited the vast majority of his top 6 or 8 schools. There's 2, Kentucky, North Carolina. I don't think he's visited those guys, but he's visited the majority of his top 6 or 8 schools. And he practically grew up at Creighton, so that's not a big deal. But with the COVID situation being what it is, with travel being what it is, with the rates of infection and the death rate, morbidity rates going up, everything's going up. Vaccines are not going to be in the market probably until March or April. And that's on the negative. On the positive side, if he stays home, he's got 18,000 in the stands that are watching. People that know him, people that watched him grow up, people that love him. His family's here, his friends are here, and Creighton is going to be a fixture for the next several years in the top 10, 15 of the polls, both the AP and the coaches poll. Creighton's going to be a fixture over these next several years. He has nothing to lose by staying home. He gets all the benefits of being at home, having mom's cooking, getting his dirty underwear washed and whatnot, hitting up pops for money, as well as playing at a state-of-the-art facility in front of 18K every game on a ranked team, on a top 10, 15 team every year. Now, you can't beat that. And he legitimately, Creighton's going to be very good, and they'll contend. They'll be in the hunt every year for the Big East. They're going to be in the hunt for the Natty. But with a bona fide top 10 player, number 6, and Hunter right now, with a bona fide top 10 player on the team, in addition to the rest of this number 8 class, and the guys from 2020, Creighton's going to have the depth, going to have the horses, going to have the firepower, going to have the defense to legitimately contend for the national championship each of these next 3 to 4 years. And that's counting this year, 2020 to 2021, and 22, 23, 24, maybe even 25. Well, probably 25. So in the next 4 or 5 years, they're going to be in the hunt legitimately for both the Big East and the national championship. Much like the talk is about Villanova, the talk will also be about Creighton in that handful of teams, or that 10 teams, 8, 10 teams that are legitimate contenders. They're going to be in the mix. So, Hunter will make this team the royal flush of basketball. And I would say that when Hunter comes on board to Creighton, which I'm expecting him to do, that not only that the 2021 class will leapfrog 1982's Benoit Benjamin class as the greatest Creighton class of all time. Okay. Number 3, have the Jays arrived? Are they a perennial top 25 team? Unequivocally, yes. Creighton has arrived. Several of the last recruiting classes have been in the top 50. Last year was 31. This year, number 8, and going to finish in the top 20. Yes. After going into their 8th season in the Big East, yes, Creighton is finally, and I'd say finally arrived. They are a legit contender. They're going to be a legit top 20 team, top 15, 20 team every year. They have arrived to the big leagues, to the big boy game. Um, now, now, having said that, will, will we have the coaching fortitude to coach this talent, to get the most out of this talent, to meet and exceed expectations? Well, I certainly hope so. Um, Mac can coach. In the past, I had been less than gracious about whether or not he had in fact plateaued, but I'm hoping that I'm wrong, that I've been wrong in the past, and that with the winning of the Big East Championship this past season, and with the potential to have gone far in the dance, I'm hoping that bygones are bygones, and the Creighton era has finally dawned, and that we're going to be not only contenders but legitimate players for Elite Eights and Final Fours and national championships. And I fully expect over the next uh, 4 or 5 years that this batch of kids that we have, plus new arrivals in 22 with Trout and others in 22 and 23, that we Creighton is actually going to win the NCAA national championship within the next few years. So yes, they have arrived, and they should now be considered by most, if not all, pundits as a perennial top 25 team. Yes, my Creighton Blue Jays, little Creighton. Yeah. Okay. Number 4. I was going to ask Nyatawa on his take on the 2020 and the 2021 classes, and ask him about his forecast for the next 4 to 6 years. And in fact, I've kind of brushed on that already in talking about whether or not Creighton has arrived and whether or not they're a perennial top 25 team. Yeah, I think we're going to win a couple or 3 Big East championships, beginning, not counting last year's championship. I think we're going to win this year in 2020-21. I think we're going to be in the mix in the top 2 to win it every year over the next 4 years. And I will be disappointed if, in fact, Creighton does not win or share the Big East title annually over the next 3 or 4 years. They've got the horses, they've got the coaching, they've got the facilities, everything is there. Now they've got the talent. And I think even though the rest of the Big East is extremely talented, and this year, 2020-21, the 21 class, the 2021 class, 4 teams are in the top 10 so far, So although that's not going to stand, you're going to have 4 Big East teams in the top 20 of the 2021 class. Last year, we had 3 teams in the top 25, 2020 class. We had 3 in the top 25, and Creighton was 31. The 2021 class, we're going to have 4 in the top 20 and probably 2 in the top 10. 2 of those 4 in the top 10 in Villanova and Creighton. So yeah, the classes are getting better. Recruiting is finally getting better. I shouldn't say finally, but recruiting has progressively gotten better, is progressively getting better. And this is probably going to be Creighton's all-time best class. And the expectations should rise. The 10 and 8, 9 and 9 crowd is going to be crying in their Wheaties. But Creighton should be expected to and will contend annually for the Big East crown as the top or the top 2, one of the top 2 teams in the conference for the next foreseeable 4 to 6 years. I skipped number 2. Yeah, I think Hunter Salas is going to be a J. Hunter Salas, yes or no? Yes. I think Hunter Salas is going to be a J. Uh, for all the reasons I mentioned when we were talking about best all-time class and all that. Staying at home, the unpredictability of COVID and the pandemic, the lack of travel, this, that, and the other. And even if he does get to take some admin visits to North Carolina and Texas or in Kentucky, I don't see that as swaying. I think the fact that he can stay home, uh, play in front of 18,000 people who know and love him, his family and friends, that Creighton already is the top 8 class and will be the top 2 class when he comes aboard, is going to be too big of a draw. And the fact that he's going to be on television every day anyway, regardless. Even at Creighton, the Big East is on TV every game. So he's going to get his accolades and his press, and the team's going to get their accolades and their press, and they're going to be in the hunt, legitimately in the hunt for the national championship. So he can do that. If he can do that at home, why go to North Kakalaki and play for the Clickians, or why go to Kentucky and play for Big Blue when you can do that at the crib? You can do that at home, just as easily, and get just as much notoriety. Make All-American, make Player of the Year. That's been done at Creighton before. So there's no great necessity for him to run to Texas or to Kansas or Kentucky or Kakalaki or any of the other places. And the damn Clickians don't like Nebraskans anyway. North Carolina hates Nebraskans. They think we break elbows and play dirty like they do. But at least we have classes here, unlike North Carolina. We have legitimate classes, and people aren't just signing a roster and we'll see you in 3 months. Damn North Carolina. Anyway, the North Clickians, my boys. They had Rocky Mount, North Carolina, had a nuclear accident, and everybody had to leave. That's why you always see North Carolina plates all over the interstate. Whether you're in New York, California, Montana, Oklahoma, you're always seeing all these North Carolina first in flight license plates. That's because they're still running away from the fallout from the Rocky Mountain explosion. But that's an old joke, and I couldn't help it. It's North Carolina, son of a bitches. It's North Carolina. I can't help it. But Wake Forest, Duke, Puke, as you call them, and the Clickians, the North Clickians, Tar Heels, they're worse than COVID. You better wear a mask when you're hanging around those folks, because they are still radioactive, more than likely. In any event, so that pretty much answers all the questions that I was going to get to Nyatawa. And I love Jon Nyatawa because he's got an excellent sense of humor. He's humble, but he's the best writer on the Omaha World Herald staff when it comes to sport, and always value his opinion. So I'm sorry that he didn't make it, but anyway, we've run about 30 minutes. I was expecting this to be about 15 minutes, but we ran long. So anyway, this is Gitmo, and this has been my take on Creighton's 2021 recruiting class. Is it the best of all time? Is it the best in the 64-team NCAA era, and whatnot, and prognosis for the future? I'm glad you're able to join us. Thanks a lot. Hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell, so that you can get notified when new stuff comes out. The thing about subscribing, it don't cost you nothing. It's free. Plus, you'll get a direct access to the Blue Notes Basketball 365 page, so that you can see all the videos. And I'll be coming out with 2 or 3 more this week. NIL, Tale of Two Coaches over on Sports Watch. the doomed season, update on COVID-19 and whether or not COVID's going to win the national championship. I'll have a new NCAA report coming out shortly, and of course the NIL update. So stay tuned, subscribe, like, so that I can get, so that my videos start to come up more on the search, and subscribe and hit the bell so that you get notified and you go straight to the Blue Notes Basketball 365 page, so that you can see all the videos and not have to be rooting around or hunting through the search or doing a search and all that kind of stuff. So be safe, wear your mask, wash your hands, social distance, and all that stuff in this COVID era. In the COVID era, I like the COVID era, and all that. Something else I was going to say. Anyway, but and the shot, of course, the shot. Pfizer, Moderna, and now AstraZeneca, all three have shots that are coming out. So when the shots are available, take the damn shot. Hey, we want to get back to normal, mask, wash our hands, social distance. And when the shots are finally available in March or April, take the damn shot. It's good to go. And you'll be good to go. Okay, so that's all I got to say. Subscribe, like, blah, 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 blah. And I'm out of here. This is Gitmo. It's been fun. It's been real. And it's been real fun. Okay. So ciao. See you later.